What's going on, guys? It's Salvajee. So we're back at it again with another episode of my Widowmaker map guide series. We're going to be taking a look at Volskaya today. So if you want to learn what the series is all about, like in depth, make sure that you guys check out the introduction video. Now, if you guys want a quick summary, I'm going to be going over beginner/general spots for Widowmaker that of course everyone should know about. So of course that part of the video is dedicated towards the newer players that are jumping into Widowmaker. But of course, I'm also going to be going over some rarely used spots / really useful spots / secret spots that not a lot of players also know about. So I did Volskaya earlier in the day, and something that I realized is that I was just taking way too long talking about the general spots, because another thing about this series is I'm not only going to give you a spot, but I'm going to tell you what the spot is useful for. So the more typical / basic spots, I'm not going to spend too much time on them. So with that said, let's get started on the attacking on phase 1. This is a really good spot for obvious reasons. You have access to this sightline right here. This is a good spot as well. Keep in mind, when you're on this spot, you can see the Torbjorn turret, so you can let your team know that this spot right here, it's very good because it gives you, some nice cover if you do need that cover. This spot right here, also a very good spot. It gives you access to that corridor over there, this area, and that area as well. Okay. Obviously, you guys can grapple on over here, and let me give you guys a tip for when you're over here. So when you're over here, sometimes the enemy is going to be focusing on you. So just come over here, throw a venom mine, and fall back, because sometimes the venom mine can be the difference between getting an elim or of course not getting an elim. Another great spot for Widowmaker on this beginning area, it's this one right here. It's the balcony. This is a spot that I don't really see a lot. I don't really blame people, obviously, because people are usually on over there, but this is a really good spot, guys. If you see a Symmetra over here throwing her orbs, you might want to come over here, see if you can get a pick on her. However, this spot is very vulnerable because a Widowmaker or a Hanzo can come up here, and of course they can just shoot you. So if you're trying to look for a spot that's more safe, you guys can grapple on over here to this area, which will give you access to, as you guys can see, all of that area right there. And if you get behind this wall, the players that are over here, they're not going to be able to shoot you, so they're going to be forced to either move over here or of course not really engage you at all. And that's why I think a lot of you guys should use this spot a little bit more, because of course in competitive, in quick play even, this spot is very helpful. It's sort of like a situational spot, but again, it's a spot that can help you guys out a lot if of course you're being dominated from this little spot right here. Another spot in this map, it's this one all the way over here. If you move just by a little bit, you do fall out, so make sure that you guys don't move. You guys can easily reach this spot by of course pulling up the grapple over here. So this one isn't as useful, okay, as for I guess you could say the attackers. However, a use that this spot has, if your team or your tank gets taken out, usually what the defending team does is they like to push over here. So you can easily turn around and grapple on over here and then snipe the players that are all the way up there. Keep in mind, if there's an Orisa down there, you shoot at her. By the time she looks up, if you have decently good aim, you're going to be able to take her out. Also, players are going to be forced to look really high in the air, which is going to give your team an opportunity to of course capitalize on it. Of course, this spot when you're on defense, it's amazing because of course the cheeky snipes that you can get from over here, and maybe even over here if you have like really good reaction. When you're on defense, you guys can also get on top of this statue, snipe players over here. If you watch my Widow gameplays, obviously you know about that spot. Now I want to touch upon one last tip for this beginning area for the attackers. A lot of players want to cross over to this other side of Widow, but they jump and then throw the grapple. That's not necessary. All you have to do is just activate your grapple. I learned this the hard way. One time I jumped and I threw the grapple and I fell, and the enemy team already knew what I was up to. Okay, one of the things that I didn't know though is that I can just shoot the grapple and just stay standing still, and it will get me over to the other side very easily, because as you guys can see, I'm not really good with the jumping and the whole grappling. Alright, let's talk about the attacking side, and basically this first half of the map, this first half side of the map. Let me give you guys another quick tip real quick. So as you guys know, I played a lot of Symmetra on console. A lot of Symmetras like to camp up here and throw their balls. This works specifically well in competitive, platinum tier, gold tier. A lot of Symmetras are up there, right? They keep throwing their balls, right? So you gotta make sure, you gotta be paying attention. This is a really good spot right here, right? You can shoot the players that are over here if they get a, you know, in front of the barrier. Winston jumps on you, you can of course get the health pack, but that's not what I'm telling you guys to use this spot. See, when the Symmetra goes inside and you see that she's taking a long time to come out, that's because she's coming over this way. She's going over to that area to set up a teleporter. So at the beginning of a competitive match, usually within the first 30 seconds or so, if you know the enemy team has a nice decent Symmetra, you guys do want to come over to this spot and you guys do want to keep an eye on her, because if you aim over here, I guarantee you you're gonna get a free easy elim. Okay, when you move on over to the attacking, your team basically won this team fight over here. I guess you know, the enemy team is falling back. You guys can jump on the truck. Maybe there might be some people coming over here, but again, not gonna talk too much about this spot because I don't want to spend a lot of time on general spots. Anyways, you guys can grapple on over here and of course help out on the point, as well as of course destroy the enemies that are coming over from this side. You guys can also do it you know, while you guys are over here on this spot. However, being on top of this little bunker thingy makes it so that of this box thing, it makes it so that the enemy team has to get basically closer to see you. Okay, from here though, okay, I like to head on over here because I have a view over this area of the point, as well as of course this spot right here, which is of course my favorite. As you guys can see, very long line of sight. This spot right here, this one and this one, and of course if you come over here, you can of course shoot them when they are in the spawn as well. Very spicy, very good. This spot right here, it's used in the Overwatch League a lot, just because there's a lot of Widowmakers that camp up there on this spot. So make sure that as you guys are moving forward, that you guys do the jump shot so you guys can of course aim. If your team heads over here to the left, alright, you guys can of course make sure that you get this high ground. And here's a secret spot, right? So alright, so here's another spot. You guys can just look at this cable right here, right? You know, open up your grapple, move a little bit towards the right, and as you guys can see, you have access towards this entire point, this area right here, the high ground area right here. Sometimes widows like to be up there, you know, they move from over here to like over there, and of course you guys can also have some nice access to this choke point right here. Another secret spot that a lot of players don't know about is this one right here. It's not as practical, but you know, it can work, I guess you could say. You guys have access to half of the point, and then of course this area right here. If you see that there's a widow over there, let's say that you're over here, you know, there's a widow over there, you're gonna see her, you can just do this, whoop, and she's not really going to expect you to come from over here because she's probably going to be aiming over here. Okay, so you guys can do that as well. Another secret spot that not a lot of players know about is this one right here. Again, just get on top of the cable. You have a lot of view towards this choke right here, and then of course you guys have a nice view towards the point as well, and of course you guys have all of your left side over here to check out as well. I would probably say if you don't really feel too confident in your ability to camp over there when you're a defensive Widowmaker, this spot is really good. Also, if you are attacking with Widowmaker, this spot is amazing as well, because basically the enemy team is going to be coming from over here and they're not going to expect you to be over here, so you can just snipe them over and over and over. Alright, so when you're defending with Widowmaker, let's just talk about the obvious spot. This spot right here, it's pretty good. Honestly, it can help you get some cheeky elims from time to time. This area right here is amazing. This area right here, also amazing. Back in the day, you were able to like, you know, grapple on all the way over here, and you were able to basically stay over there perched up. But of course, you cannot really do that anymore. This spot right here, really good when you know, your team is falling back. You have access towards the entire point. You can literally see where everything's happening. If people come through here, you basically know as well. That moves me forward to my next position. This spot right here, it's very good as well. You guys can come from here all the way over here, okay, for the players that usually, you know, like to hide up there, or that are of course getting the health pack down there. Okay, this is also a place that I don't, you know, a position that I don't really see used as much. This one right here, pretty useful, but honestly, you know, it definitely varies, right? When it comes down to defending with Widowmaker also, you guys can just camp over here next to this box. Look, it's a situational type spot. It's not the greatest one. but you know, you got to make the best of what you got. When you're camping with Widowmaker also on defense, you guys can also use this little area right here, and of course this back area right here. It's rarely ever used, but what you guys don't understand is that Winston can jump at you from time to time, right? So if you guys start over here at the low ground, you see that the enemy team has a Winston. He jumps towards you. All you guys have to do is this, and look at that. He basically can't jump at you for 6 seconds, so you're just damaging his team over and over and over again, right? Let's say that, you know, they don't have a Winston, right? You're basically over here, you know, there's a Genji coming towards you. You basically just come up here. Let's say your teammates take care of it. This is a perfect opportunity to get your hook on cooldown, wait for the enemy team to just fall downstairs to the point, and then of course you can snipe them. However, keep in mind, they might stay on the high ground, since the high ground is very dominant, which is why this spot is very useful over here. Let's say that you know they're going to be coming from over here. You can just snipe them as they come out through here, and then you can just walk back and get this health pack over here, position yourself over here. With that said, let's move on forward to the second. Alright, we're on the second point. We're attacking. You guys can use this little, you know, these little lamps right here. If you guys look at my Widow gameplays on Volskaya, you guys know that I use this jump shot a lot. When you're coming over from the defensive side of things, let's say that you want to get a cheeky Elam because you're a greedy Widowmaker just like me, you guys can do this grapple shot right here. As you guys know, I don't really do a lot of grapple shots in the Widowmaker map guide series because, you know, grapple shots are very basic. You guys can do this, you know, maybe snipe the people that are coming over. You guys can do this when you're on defense, snipe the people that are on the point. Very basic stuff. You guys can come up here as well, use this little railing, and basically you guys have access towards the point. That's a basic spot though. So let's move on forward to an uncommon spot that I don't really see a lot of Widows at. This is a really good spot. You're basically contesting the right side of the point, this area right here, this high ground area right here. And whenever you have a chance, you can come up here and maybe bother the people that are over there as well. And as you guys can see, you guys have something that can get you guys back to your teammates. When you're attacking also, obviously this is a pretty good spot, pretty obvious. Again, not gonna go super into it. So this is a spot right here that you can use as well, but it's very demanding because you have to be moving from left to right like continuously. It's a glitch spot. It's probably going to get fixed in the future. When you're defending with Widowmaker, when you're attacking with Widowmaker, you guys can come up here, move a little bit forward, and as you guys can see, you guys have access to the left side of the point. Listen, no one is going to expect you to be up here, guys, so make sure that you guys use this spot, of course, as much as you can. Let's say you're over here, right, with Widow, your team is, fighting. You guys can come up here into this little area right here and then kill the enemies that are coming from that side of the spawn. Let's say they're coming in from the center. You guys can come over here and snipe them from the center. Now, this spot isn't as great because, of course, the thingies can move you out of the way. So make sure that you guys are like between these two doors right here. Another thing that you guys can do after a while, you guys can just change positions, right? Keep in mind, one of the things that makes Widowmaker really good is that sometimes the enemy team just doesn't really know where you're at. So, it can be very helpful to switch positions from time to time. Alright, let's talk about the defensive side of things. You guys can use this spot or position. Take a shot every time I say spot, by the way. But yeah, you guys can use this position really well. You guys can get some cheeky snipes from, the enemies that are coming over to spawn. Also, okay, so this spot right here, it can help you out, if there's a Widowmaker perched up there because, this canister right here kind of gives you some cover. However, if you are having trouble with the Widowmaker that's camping up there, keep in mind you can just go for this grapple shot right here. You guys can also use this spot with Widowmaker. It's kind of like a situational type thing. If you want to be greedy, you can use it, but honestly, it's not too great. The defensive side of things with Widowmaker, towards like, closer to the spawn, you guys can get on this little thingy right here, which is really good positioning. You guys can get some cheeky headshots on the enemies that are coming from spawn. You guys can also get on top of this one, but you cannot get on top of this one right here. This one is a no-no, okay? This one, however, this back one here, you can definitely get on top of as well. So this is also a really good spot when they're coming over from the when the enemy team is coming from their spawn. It can definitely help you get a little bit of ult charge. This right here also really good. This one right here also good as well. And then, of course, last but not least, we have this glitchy spot right here. If you move from the left to the right, you can stay within the you know, within like the glitch location. But again, it's a really demanding spot, and honestly it's a spot that I don't really recommend much. As you guys can see, you know, not a lot of players are gonna expect you to be up here. You can also watch this, you know, top area right here. You can watch these stairs, but if you guys fuck up, okay, you guys can definitely fall to your deaths. This is what I was planning. Yeah, I was talking about this right here. Okay, something like that can happen. Also, those spots are probably going to get patched because I'm pretty sure that's not intentional. Alright, last but not least, when spawning with Widowmaker on defense, you guys can come through here and then just drop out here and then shoot the enemy from the right side. When they see you, you can just grapple on over here and then just come back to this position. So when you're spawning with Widowmaker on defense, right, you guys can come over here, or you guys can come over here to this little area right here. But one of the things that the enemy is not going to expect much is, of course, the right side. So make sure that you guys apply that to your gameplay. I hope this map guide helped you guys out. If you enjoyed it, drop it a like, subscribe to join the Salvajee cartel. Make sure you check out the map guide series playlist in the description as well. And I'll be seeing you guys in the next one. Peace out. Until